coming out of Calvin, I worked for a corporation, right? So simply profit-driven, right? But then I spent almost 3-4 years working for this international nonprofit called Unbound, where I got to see the entire large nonprofit side, right? So this beautiful social mission. I mean, I was 23 to 26 years old, like some really crucial learning years for me to spend in the international programs department with these mentors and traveling around the world and learning about poverty. And so it really was, in that role at Unbound, where I was working with scholarship students all over the world, from Ecuador to Liberia, West Africa, and eventually over to the Philippines. And so I had this opportunity to talk to a lot of young people. We spent 18 years getting these young people through college. Like, these are the cream of the crop, smartest, young people that I've met in a long time, and they were sitting in the Philippines. And our program did great work to get them all the way through, but there weren't any jobs after they graduated. And so I remember just hearing these stories of people wanting to stay in their communities, but they could not find jobs to stay, so they'd have to leave, and it would disrupt everything. And so I remember I got on a flight back to Kansas City. I was like, all right, I feel like I have to do something about this. And I remember journaling for 24 hours straight and coming up with some pathways to maybe pursue. And I remember going home and talking to my wife. I said, hey, Sarah, what are your thoughts about starting something? And so I was looking at creating a nonprofit to try to find a kind of a way to be able to match skill sets and work. But then I said, well, what if we started a company and pursued that option instead? And so I started studying about social enterprise, and it was like this blend between the efficiencies and the systems of a well-run company with a beautiful mission of the nonprofit side. And so we ended up choosing photography, photo editing, and partnering with photographers here in the US and around the world that needed help with their editing solutions. So if you can imagine a wedding photographer or a real estate photographer that says, hey, I can't grow my business, I get stuck editing photos all night by myself in my basement away from my family. We were able to take that pain point and distribute it to a team in the Philippines, and then be able to say, hey, let's take this thing that someone would do in their basement alone away from their family and actually create like this space in the Philippines that these young people could actually create a community around. And so we started in 2013, 12, we had 8 employees, 4 developers, 3 editors, and a couple partners, and some investment. And today I think we're close to 350 employees in the Philippines. If I look at where I ended up today and my journey thus far, it has not been linear. It's been anything but linear. And I think part of what Calvin prepared me for was being a little bit more agile in my career. I think the life of an entrepreneur, you have to be flexible and be able to move with not only the trends, but also with your skill sets and where you impact not only companies, but also others in your work. An entrepreneur in my mind can mean many different things, but really it's taking something that doesn't exist yet and trying to find new ways to make that thing exist. And so I think there is something profoundly beautiful in finding those noble goals and taking a team, an idea, and resourcing it to bring it into fruition. And that to me is really exciting. The things that we thought might be unredeemable continue to come back in new ways. They're like, I needed to learn that for this reason. Or actually, because of that failure or because of that misstep, I actually was able to learn this thing. And I feel like I've been fortunate enough to see some of those redemptive moments already in my own life and my own career. But I think in terms of encouragement to younger people, being able to pivot not only your career but your life as they come, right? Having that group of people around you, that community of people around you to help guide you and point you back has been incredibly important.